and I don't think that you will come up against the frustrations of being made to do things that you don't completely agree with.
Well, he just sprung it on us like he usually sprung everything on us, but we took it, as we took a lot of other things that he said, but nothing ever seemed to materialise. But this time we somehow felt that he really meant it.
The life that I've led follows no pattern, and to be able to sum it up would be impossible.
It's erratic.
I think one's life tends to follow one's character.
The life is going to be so different to what we've led here, and people have different standards, and it's going to be difficult I think for me. I wouldn't like to say it that way.
I think we'll find it very easy because we consider ourselves very good mixers and adaptable.
Can I do my own, please?
Yeah. Don't look.
I presume you're both Jewish?
Yes.
What's your profession?
I run a car hire business.
No, this is your present employment, you said.
Oh, I see what you mean. I was trained in accountants.
And you mentioned something on the phone about guiding.
Oh yes, I spent 3 years guiding for a tourist company.
And what's your profession?
Shorthand typist, library assistant.
Have you been ever to Israel?
No.
No. When do you intend to go?
Well, we'd like to go as soon as possible.
Could you muster any funds on arrival in Israel?
Yes, in the region of £2,000.
Well, still I would like you to think it over and complete, please, carefully, the questionnaires, interplicate. When you have thought it over, and bearing in mind what I told you about the situation, you come back and we shall discuss again the problems.
When we first decided we wanted to go to Israel, we went to the Jewish agency, and they didn't seem at all interested in us. This was rather annoying. I was rather persistent and went back a little even more determined and perhaps a little more convincing. And the attitude completely changed on the second visit, and from then they've been most helpful.
And you still are keen on going?
Yeah, well, I'm going.
Well, I would like you to tell me what brought you to that you are so keen on going in spite of the explanations I gave you to your wife last night.
Well, I think basically because I'm a Jew, and also I feel very strongly that my children should be brought up in a country completely free from anti-Semitism.
Well, I don't think you have anti-Semitism here in England.
I think not to such a great extent, but I think beneath the surface there is a certain amount. I really experienced anti-Semitism when I was very, very young and very impressionable, soon after the war, when they used to hold fascist meetings near to where we lived. You see a group of people with hate on their faces marching towards 2 or 3 Jewish women behind a counter and brandishing their fists at them. This really scared me, and I hate myself that I was scared, that I couldn't, even as a young boy, let them know that I'm one of them, and that if they want to brandish their fist at 3 women, they can at me as well.
We must understand that a kibbutz is a home for people and a way of life, and you need to have some understanding. It can't be used just as a transfer camp.
Would you think that a family such as my own could be absorbed into that way of life?
I would think so. I think that any family can be absorbed. The spoken language and written language is Hebrew. Do you know any Hebrew? Either of you?
No, I don't. No.
Well, I can read it, you know, from what I learned as a child, but I can't speak Hebrew at all.
So this will handicap us to start with, as you know, for jobs, won't it?
Yes, it will. It will handicap you socially as well. But nevertheless, you'll have Hebrew lessons.
There is the opportunity to learn.
Oh yes, certainly, because otherwise you won't be able to be absorbed by the community.
How would you feel about our chances of being accepted, say, for example, by your kibbutz?
I would generally say most people who go probably have a 50% chance.
Jack 2 to base. I'm running Terry home at the moment, and he'll be back on about 7:30. Do you read?
Running Terry home, and he'll be back at 7:30.
Yes, Roger.
So is this all sort of communal living, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, the children will stay in their own house, and they'll only be with us sort of in the evenings and on the weekend.
Hello, Jackie's car service. Number 10, Morning Lane. You want this straight away? Right, sure, thank you. Gary! Come speak to Bob. Hello, car service.
Yeah, no. Oh, it gives me 10 minutes to get down the ship. I guess down there's no one to sit on.
But you know the ship as well as I do. They'll never wait for you, and you know well we're short.
Yeah, well, why didn't
Gary
you,
isn't a 9 till 5er, and part of his makeup and character is being sort of free to do what he wants to do it when he wants to do it, not when somebody says, come in at 9, you do so much work, leave at 1, come back at 2 and leave at 5. This isn't Gary.
He's intelligent, he paints, he can converse with anybody, but somehow his mind has always been all over the place. You know, he's never been able to settle.
He thought he'd be a musician. He bought a trumpet when he was about 70.
He bought a trumpet, I bought the trumpet.
Well, his mother bought him a trumpet.
Everything
when
he
was
wanted,
about
and
70.
everything sort of fizzled out, you know.
He's had lots of different jobs, and the last job he had he was very sort of quite happy with because he was free. We had everything we could wish for. We had our own flat, furniture, we had money to spend on clothes, outings. The children never lacked for anything.
Big car.
A big car. And, you know, we had everything we wanted. In my eyes, that isn't a failure.
Well, who are we to stop him going?
I don't think we could if we wanted to anyway. You see, he's never really been settled since he came out of the Air Force. I mean, it isn't as though the boy didn't have he's got a good living over here. But he's always been a sort of a wanderlust.
Have you had tuberculosis?
No.
Mental trouble?
No.
Nervous breakdowns?
No.
Epilepsy?
No.
Heart trouble?
No.
Asthma? Diabetes? Venereal diseases? And what makes you decide to go to Israel now at this point?
Nationalistic reasons. I feel that Israel is my home. I think a great sacrifice went into providing it, and I don't want my children to lose their identity.
Have you got anything further to say about it?
Well, I just thought it would be a wonderful life for your children. It would give them, you know, a full life, the fuller life than they're leading now. And I think it would be good for them.
And for yourself, giving up all the luxuries and your family and friends. You don't have any friends in Israel, do you?
No, we don't. No, I know nothing about it really. But I think I'm an adaptable person and will be able to fit in. Do you have the clothing list?
This is the list. This is the list for the girls.
Boots, I have the boots.
Oh, yeah.
Long boots.
A winter dress. You see, the thing is, it's difficult. A winter dress there can be a summer dress here. 4 summer dresses, cotton, 2 winter skirts, 2, I think most of them.
These things I have in my wardrobe anyway, it's pointless.
1
Quick knit, it's a mistake in the print.
Oh, I see, 1 quick knit or very heavy sweater. I do take the bull by the horns. If something happens, it happens quickly, and everything has to be done there. I don't like toying over with ideas for years. We had a very short engagement. This is the sort of thing. I mean, I don't believe in once I've made up my mind, that's what I want to do. If my wife agrees, then we do it. When I first caught sight of Israel, I think I cried a little, seeing the land of my ancestors for the first time.
It was overwhelming. It was such a beautiful view. At last we've arrived in Israel. It was a wonderful feeling of home.
You must be tired out. Are you tired? Are you tired? The only couple of things we've got now is a couple of papers for you to register and sign, and this one gives you a little bit of information, which I don't think you need very much about it, seeing as you're on a kibbutz, you won't need us very much. So you can all go off now, wishing you all the very best of luck. Thank you very much. And I hope to be seeing you one day there, digging away.
zavat halla, halav devash, zavat halla, halav devash, zavat halla, halav devash, zavat halla, halav devash, zavat halla, zavat halav devash.
The reality of Ammiad was something much better than I imagined. Tidiness is not conducive to good business. If a place is littered, obviously it's more prosperous.
You think, oh my God, what have I come into? But once you get past the working part and enter the living quarters, it changes completely.
You see, your luggage has arrived already. Yes. Oh, it's very lovely. The bed of the children, I think this will be a bed for the boy.
That's so you can ride back home.
A smaller bed.
Oh, the children will stay with us?
Well, I think it is better to have them stay a few days. You know, until they get accustomed.
I was expecting something similar to a wooden hut. And I was shocked when I had this very nice brick-built sort of chalet. It had its own kitchen and a shower, toilet, and a nice large room. I thought it was extremely pleasant, much nicer than I expected.
I think this is the best place to start the explanation from. I'm probably going to tell you a lot of things that you know already, so please excuse me. We try and plan our kibbutz in such a way that it will be as convenient as possible for people. For instance, you're used to having your children in your same house. You're used to eating in your same house. Here we eat together in the dining room, which you can see over there, and the children live in the different children's houses, which are more or less in a semicircle inside the larger semicircle where we all live.
This is the children's playroom, as you see. We've got a number of playrooms here. One's a room with bricks and cars and where they can build and make bridges. And this is a room usually for you dressing up and making, you know, make-believe. For your children, I think the main difficulty will be just the first few days, getting used to the fact that Mother, say, will start work soon and that she won't be around at home. But at least they'll know that Mother can come in and see them in the morning.
This is their little children's farm where the children work, become accustomed to animals. It gives them a sense of responsibility. They work under the guidance of somebody who's an expert in this thing, and we want them to be interested in agriculture, even excited about it. And this is the way.
Good to get them started very early.
We succeed in that because they love it. You know, they get a tremendous kick out of it.
As a child living in town, the only time I saw animals is if I went to the zoo, and the children having to look after them and having an interest in them, I think is absolutely marvellous.
Is there any chance that I'll be working here?
You'll probably work a few weeks in most places, as far as we can allow you, because in the long run it'll be a balance between where you're needed and where you'll want to work.
I see.
The person's status on the kibbutz is in no way dependent upon what job he does. We all get the same return, we eat the same food, we have the same kind of housing, our children receive the same sort of education, irrespective of what job we're actually doing. The one thing that may be slightly... I think the most of us living here are socialists. We find this is a way of expressing our socialism. I think that's a very rare thing, by the way, to be able to have the possibility of expressing one's ideals in a practical manner.
I hope to keep my femininity. I should hate to become square. Probably in a couple of years my clothes will be very old-fashioned. But I should imagine by that time I won't even notice what I'm wearing. It won't bother me. People come in, they're very hungry, everybody wants to eat at once and everybody's clamouring for their food. I don't like that idea at all. It's very noisy. Well, I'll get used to the system in time, I suppose.
Careful. Oh dear. It's probably rather different to what you thought about the kibbutz. A lot of people think that the kibbutz is people only doing agriculture. We found that doesn't work out. What we've tried to do here is to try and diversify our work. Here, like everywhere else, we work a 6-day week. We don't work on Saturdays, of course. But the big problem comes if you want to go to town. Israel being a Jewish country, some of the Jewish religious laws have somehow got themselves into our civil laws, which means that there's no public bus services in the country on Saturday. So the ordinary worker like myself, if I want to go into town on Saturday, I can't do that. These are the sort of things that were ironed out in Europe 300-400 years ago, the separation of religion from the state. I think this is one of the things that has got to be in this country eventually, but I don't see that we're moving towards it. As you can see, we had quite a bit of damage here from the shelling from Syria over the way during the war. The estimate, approximately 80 shells fell on the kibbutz, luckily most of them on the outside. You see, we're now trying to rebuild our cow shed and the barns. 3 of our cows were killed, direct hits on the cow shed and on the milking parlour. That's all been repaired, of course, that was very urgent. One of the interesting things was that I was with the Israeli army in Syria during the fighting, and I found a map of this kibbutz there. All our cow sheds and our beef cattle area were marked down as military installations, which I think shows 2 things. One, that their artillery work was excellent. They were very, very accurate in their firing. but their intelligence work was lousy.
I think it's very difficult to imagine circumstances where people are firing guns at you and people are behind these guns intent on destroying you. We went to Kfar Nasi, which is a kibbutz up near to the Syrian frontier. Was there much damage done?
In our own kibbutz there was quite a bit of damage, but not as much as what we heard ourselves on the radio.
Was there any question at all of evacuating the children?
No.
Not at all?
No.
The parents, you know, nobody was particularly bothered?
Well, they had suggested that we evacuate the children, but, I mean, the children are part and parcel of our life, and if they hadn't been here, we wouldn't have felt that we were fighting for our homes. Anyway, the kids themselves wouldn't have gone, so there was no discussion.
When I talk about children, I'm talking about very, very young children, where they wouldn't know what was happening anyway.
Yes, but you see, you've got to think about the morale of the people who lived here. This is our home, and we built it for 20 years. If we evacuated our children, we would be dividing our worries. Like this, we had one central worry, to live, to exist.
We went up to the Syrian frontier. Even though you can see homes that were destroyed, burnt out vehicles, I have no feeling of joy or elation that these are Arab places, but the fact that some human being has suffered.
I saw babies' prams outside houses. I could feel for the mothers of these children, innocent children.
This used to be the headquarters of the Syrian Southern Command. And I suppose from here it was that they planned quite a bit of trouble for us. Luckily enough, it happened the other way around. Over there, part of the equipment they found around here, there used to be much more. A lot of artillery pieces and tanks have been taken out of here to Israel.
You travel up along these roads that you've seen possibly through binoculars and telescopes, and you see positions, military positions that have shelled you. And it's all a bit dreamlike to travel there completely freely in a place that was absolute death to one such a very, very short time ago.
Lamed,
Lamed,
Mem,
Mem,
Nun,
Nun,
Samech.
Samech.
Now it's your turn. Nun,
Nun,
Samech,
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 Ayin,
Ayin,
Fe,
Fe,
Tzadik,
oh, Tzadik,
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 Kuf,
Kuf,
Resh.
Resh.
ואני אגיד בעל פה את מה שבדרך כלל אני כותבת על הלוח. אתם בכלל לא מסתכלים עליהם במהלך השיעור, רק שהוא יגיד לי מתי להתחיל. כן להתחיל. היום אנחנו נעשה חזרה על ריבועים וקוביות. בונים את זה.
Andrew has a very miserable face. He's a very serious-minded child, and he has many fears within him, and doesn't express himself awfully well. He has a special friend, a little girl called Barbara, who speaks English, and she's been absolutely marvellous to him. She's looking after him more like a mother.
גלעד, 6 של 2. אנחנו לא עושים ועוד, אנחנו עושים פעמים. 6 של 2.
These are our famous banana plantations, which you've probably heard quite a lot about since you've been on the kibbutz. It is, in fact, one of the most important branches, always very, very good income from it, and we've got a very, very good name in this country.
What are those barriers just in front?
They're windbreaks. We have to put up windbreaks every 20 metres because there's very, very strong winds in the afternoon which tear the leaves. You'll have a chance to work here for a few days. Maybe you'll like it because we're always looking for people. I think that their hardest task is going to be overcoming that of townies coming to live in a village. The essential fact is that we are basically farmers, and we basically live a fairly simple village life.
I started off in the packing station. It's rather pleasant, really. Everybody was very happy, chatting and singing, and everything was very casual, and it was rather nice. Just packing pears into boxes.
Okay, put it to the end and then depress the lever down there. That's it. Now you have to measure it with the ruler until it's 15 centimeters it should be. How many? 15. That's good. Bloody good, isn't it? The center.
Work in a factory is impossible. Most factory work is repetition work. I find it completely soul-destroying.
He's expressed already a preference for working with our milking herd. The point is he going to be able to overcome the sheer physical obstacle? And it's a very, very difficult life.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
וירא בלק בן ציפור את כל אשר עשה ישראל לאמורי. ויגר מואב מפני העם מאוד, כי רב הוא.
In England, they occasionally call him a bloody Jew, and out here they'll call him a bloody Englishman. But if he can bear that, it won't be so bad, because this won't happen to his children. His children will be bloody Israelis.
I think it will take at least 6 months till I really know whether I will stay or go.
I think one has to be an optimist until one is disillusioned. And so far, 1 week, it's obvious that when you make a step as great as I have, you're not disillusioned in a week.